So I want to know, Steve, how you feeling about the season so far? Liverpool, you know the topic, but how are you feeling about it as a very obsessed Liverpool fan?
Um, Here we go. We conquered all of Europe. All right, I'm just kidding. um, yeah, we're doing pretty good. I literally, I'm not even going to do the rebuild season thing. I was going to do that. I was going to hold strong on that all year. We're building. We're just
Yep.
rebuilding. I can't do it. This is extremely dominant. What I will say that isn't being said because it's too scary to say is that Slot has not really stamped his authority on Liverpool Football Club yet. So people need to
Mm.
understand this guy is obviously extremely intelligent. He is Elon Musking Liverpool Football Club, which is Elon Musk has an idea. People are like, no way you can do it. He completely knows he can do it, and he just surrounds himself by all the smartest people that he knows he can do, and he gets it done. And he gets it done way faster. Merry Christmas, sweetie. He gets it done way faster. Like, look, I don't know if she's taking out laundry. I don't know what she's doing, but that's what Slot's like. He's about at work, and he gets it done. This is so funny. Look, even your wife is wearing red. She knows what's up. Um, so yeah, he just came in, and he's like showing that he's like, oh, there's so much good here. These players are so good. We don't, who cares? No transfer window. But that he's not an idiot. Of course he wants transfers. Of course he wants. Of course he wants his type of people in his team. Of course he has. Okay, what's my type of right back? What's my type of left back? What's my type of this? My type of that. So he hasn't put his stamp on the club yet. He hasn't had any slot signings. And his methods, I think it's been really intelligent how he's downplayed how different they are now versus how they were before. But it's obvious to everybody how different they are now to how they were before. It was obvious in the first game. The control, the intentional possession control, and the big midfield that won under Klopp was not capable of doing this. Henderson, Milner, Wijnaldum, I think could have done it, but it was just a workman-like midfield. Now, Gravenberch, talented technical player. McAllister, World Cup, earned a starting spot in Argentina, technical player. Soboslai, extremely technical player. Curtis Jones, for an English player, especially, obviously, technical player. Harvey Elliott, look, and so there's a new crop of technical people that have come through. That's all Slot he's doing it. So I don't think he's putting his authority on the team yet. I'm scared of what he can do. I'm scared of the Premier League. I'm total opposite of you. I'm total conspiracy theorist. I don't trust the reps. I don't trust Newcastle. I don't trust Man City. I think the Premier League, even in a business sense, even if I'm not using the Arab oil angle, even in a business sense, I think the Premier League, they're like, look, we need to make sure the league's legit. We can't let Liverpool dominate too much. Like, so if you can
You
kind
think
of
the
go
refs?
against
You think
them.
the refs are out there thinking that?
No, I
Oh
think that
my
they're
gosh!
instructed from the top. I believe in leadership, and I believe leadership says,
Oh
hey,
my gosh,
more
Steve!
more competition sells. These people
Let's
get
keep.
so pissed. Slots dominating his lead so bad, our sales are going to go down. I mean, look on USA. Look how many Liverpool games are on USA. Every Liverpool game. Oh, if it's 7:30
Oh
a.m.,
my
it's Liverpool. If it's Sunday, it's Liverpool. They
dude,
never on Peacock. It's always USA. Everybody's watching
Liverpool
Liverpool.
fans are funny. With you love Liverpool fans love this like idea of the world's against us kind of thing. So when we started this, we were like, let's just it's a fun way to talk about the exciting stuff of the week, the games, what's happening.
Yeah.
I don't think either of us expected Liverpool or Chelsea to be at the top of the league before the season started. And as it's gotten, more and more, I mean, as Chelsea rose into number two and Liverpool's clearly number one. Now it's much more like, oh, like this is a rivalry. This is I mean not this is like this could be the race of the season. So it's much more pointed and much more like I'm much more looking at like what does Steve think about what's going on? Like where does he see potential weaknesses? Because I they come to me and like I'm trying to find them or think of them, but it's much more of a case of like I mean I'm way outside the Liverpool world and bubble, and so I'm curious what it. I'm always curious to get any information I can from
Sure.
inside to see what I could add to my information. And I don't think going down to conspiracy rabbit holes around refing is the way to go. But it's I mean every team feels like the refs are against them. I mean you've seen how
Yeah,
many
I agree.
coaches last year. And I genuinely think the biggest potential conspiracy you have is just refs favoring big clubs, which is just known. It's like it's human psychology to some extent. I think they try not to. I do think they try to be professional, objective. I think there are some refs who have more of a bias against some teams than others. You have the issue of David Coote maybe, who was really irritated by Klopp and his behavior to him. Chelsea fans are convinced Anthony Taylor has something against Chelsea, and
Hmm.
I'm one of them. I mean, the dude has consistently like this season was an anomaly because like anytime he refs Chelsea games, it's like horribly anti-Chelsea. So
Hmm.
it's he's goes down near the top of infamy list for Chelsea fans, but
Well, I think what you're
not just the
proving,
refs, but of
these
like
refs are
anything.
human. They're not as
Yeah, they're
objective as we
human.
want.
They're going to be influenced by
Things.
experiences in their life that I don't think there's like corruption in the refing game of like, oh, let's try to make. I think that's a stupid idea. But anyway, getting back to the football. So what you were saying was he hasn't made his mark, stamped his own impression on the team so well. But at the same time, you said that everybody can see he's got a more controlled style to the game. So
Yeah.
sort of two
Yeah, I
different
said he's made his mark. I said he hasn't stamped his authority,
stamped his authority. Yeah.
his levels.
So the thing I'm still hopeful as a rival fan is like that a lot of what Liverpool is great with is leftover from Klopp.
Hmm.
Is like this leftover passion and like high intensity, high pace, and that hopefully that would dwindle a little bit as they get more and more used to calm Slot and Slot not emphasizing whatever Klopp might have emphasized in session after session, and that it could like. But at the moment, what it looks like is that you have the best of what Klopp brought to the team, and it's completely being built on. None of it is being diminished or weakened, but it's being built on with Slot's additional like tactics and practicality, and that it's just a combination, made in heaven. Like it's just like it's a deadly combination. I mean, you guys are tearing up the Premier League and the Champions League right now because nobody can compete with the mixture of high intensity, fast attacking, fast breaking, as well as controlled midfield and defense, and like controlling the game when you're ahead. The opposite of what Tottenham is doing, which is fascinating and amazing to watch. Like their crazy, like constant gung ho style is just amazing and wild. But like they go up 2-0 and nobody has any faith that they will hold that lead. Like even if it's not Chelsea or Liverpool, anyone's like, oh, they could lose 2 goals in 10 minutes. So Liverpool, on the other hand, you go up and it's like, oh man, now they're gonna shut down the put the shutters down, and you're gonna be, and the house is closed, and it's like game over. So I don't know. There's not much hope for any outsiders. Nobody I'm seeing has any real ideas of what could go wrong, except theoretically, oh, it could just stop going so great because it's Slot's first season in Premier League, and maybe all of a sudden it will stop being perfect, like which is a useless like analysis. Or of course, there's the option of potentially Salah or Virgil would get injured, and they're your two key players who uh, are absolutely critical. I mean, Salah's been involved in like an insane number of your goals, and like, and then Virgil, like I heard, I think it was Stevie Nicol or Craig Burley or someone saying the other day, like he's so in control and so cool and running the show so well. It doesn't even look like he's breaking a sweat at the end of the game. Like he's just like
Yeah.
he's in, like they're saying, is he's back to his like prime, his best, and it's
That's
like, and sometimes you feel like he's not even, he's just the conductor behind the rest of the team and doesn't even have to do much because he's just like there, and everyone else he's sort of just guiding the show in such a perfect way that he doesn't even have to get involved most of the time or half the time, which is, it's just bonkers. I mean, the level Liverpool is at is, I mean, I said a year ago you guys were going to win the league. I thought you looked like the best team in the league, and you fell apart. This year, it's a different level of control, and it's sort of like what you should have done last year, in my opinion, but sort of just crumbled at for some reason.
hmm.
Anyway, that's so, I don't know. I'm not hoping for anyone's injury, but I don't see how I don't see how Liverpool. I mean, there's always a potential that just you go out of, look at what happened with Man City, right?
Yeah, I think luck is all people really have. They really, and this is why I believe in conspiracies, because I think there's a lot at stake, and that people look there, and
Oh my
apart from
god!
something bad happening to us, there's no reason. Slot is so calm. He doesn't have these guys riding on fumes like
But are
Slot
you
kind of did.
concerned? Are you concerned at all about what I said about how he could calm things down too much, where they lose some of that intensity over
No,
time? Or
no, and I'll
no?
tell you why. Because he is
Damn.
strict as crap about hard work. If you listen to his press conferences, they'll be like, "Oh man, look
Yeah.
at this player. Didn't he do good?" He's like, "Yeah, but did you notice his defending?" I mean,
Yeah,
he
he's very
constantly,
intense. Yeah.
he's
He's
constantly,
quietly intense.
and it's to the point where like even Virgil and all the other people they're mimicking. And even at the end of the game, with 6-3, Mo Salah said, "Yeah, we did good offensively, but defensively we didn't do good." And he meant the entire team. So he's got everybody thinking about defense. He even said, he goes, "Well, top players have to learn. We have to run all game. We'd have 20 minutes if we don't run." And look, they scored 3 goals. So I think he is big on that. You can look at his character from Feyenoord. He's not. It's not like he's doing. If he was doing something new that he hadn't already done, then it could be like, this is leftover Klopp. No, they hired him because of his similarities to Klopp. So there is a similarity of style when it comes to pressing up high. What I think is crazy about him is,
How
and
shiny
I
his
think it's
bald head is.
I think it's better than Pep Guardiola. I I
You think
think he
his
has
bald
a
head is
very
better than Pep's?
dynamic playing style. And what I mean by that is these players seem to be able to change and adjust in game on the fly, and it's all part of the plan. It's like they understand, oh, we don't need a midfield right now. Throw 5 people forward. Like, did you see him in the game where they went down to 10? That's got to be, was it Newcastle?
Yeah.
That has to be one of the most
Yeah.
impressive games
Yeah,
ever.
that
Like,
was, I
we
think
dominated
for
once we went down a man.
yeah, I think for me and many others, that was sort of the game where it was like, oh man, they're just gonna win the league because you were so dominant at 10 men, and it was
And,
disappointing to see, but it was also just, you could see it was sort of like, yeah, the whole team stepped up a gear because they needed to, and you could just see that they could do that, and you could
yeah,
see what they could do under pressure and in a more difficult circumstance, and you're just like, man, what the heck? How does it look like Liverpool has an extra man? This is messed up. This is
mhm.
totally messed up.
The way they
But
started playing, they started swinging in 50 million crosses. It was just like, there's so many different ways a team can hurt you. And that's just in the game of footy. And that's why we like it. There's so many different ways.
yeah,
Liverpool, to me, seems like they know all of those ways and they can do all of those ways. They're like, oh, we're going to keep it on the ground. Sure. Oh, we're going to go long and
yeah.
direct. Oh, we're going to whip in crosses. And they'll switch it on a dime. Oh, we need a set piece. Like, it's
And
scary.
the problem is that it's all done so perfectly and smoothly that you
Yeah.
can't even find a weakness. You can't find something that could, you know, drive things off the rails. Like it's just like, you're just like, they do everything perfectly and smoothly, and it's really annoying as a, someone who wants you to stumble, because it's like, how will they stumble? How can they stumble? Like, the my big hope was like Salah going away on AFCON until
Yeah,
it
and that would
you
really
knew
mess us up
until
every year.
I realized there's no AFCON in this at this time during the season, and I was like, oh my gosh, now it's over. I was like, it's over, dude. Like that was the only. I mean, of course, there's the injury issue, and I mean nobody. It's it's an obvious thing, so it's not worth discussing, and it's a weird thing to talk about, especially as a rival, because it's just you don't want to hope anyone gets injured, of course.
Yeah,
But aside from that, you just can't. I just can't see Liverpool stumbling. I mean, there were some games where you just squeaked it out, and you're like,
yeah,
oh, they just barely got the win, and I felt like that was the time though that you needed them to drop points. Like
yeah.
if it wasn't going to happen then, it doesn't feel like it's going to happen now. It feels like you're going to end the season like sort of the Man City normal way of just like totally shutting down the hatches. But yeah, I don't know. You also have I think a lot more depth than a lot of people realize or give credit. There's so many players that can come in and play the same position, and the whole system looks the same. The whole system looks smooth and perfect, and it doesn't seem to matter if you change out five different players. There is the issue of Virgil and Salah, who I think,
Yeah.
yeah, I'll get to one more potential hope, which I hinted to you, and I don't know if you got it, but let's just see if you have anything else to say first.
No, I think even the transfer thing, it's weird. I feel like they're writing a lot of articles about it. There's a lot of talk about it. I can't explain it as a Liverpool fan. I don't really feel the stress of it, and I don't know if that's because I'm
You
emotionally
mean the
attached to
three
them.
big? You mean
Yeah,
the big three players?
I'm just not stressed. It's almost like if those guys won this year, because winning the Premier League is so huge. It is so huge. I know Man City almost make it seem not huge, which is why I think that team's whack. But it is actually huge. And the old school managers say it's more important to win your league before anything else, and then probably next Champions League.
Yeah,
And especially for us, I think if we win, we'll be tied 20 with United for the most. So it's a huge deal.
yeah, yeah.
And I feel like if they win, if all three of them left, they'd be like, okay, let's see what Slot can do. Now, of the
I would love
three,
to see that. I would
yeah,
love that
well,
experiment.
I'm sure. I'm sure. I don't think it's going to happen though, because I think Virgil is a good guy
I
and a
don't.
dad, and he's not going to uproot his family, and he loves Liverpool. He's loyal as crap. Only if something messed up happened behind the scenes, I think he would take a pay cut. I think he would do whatever he needed to do. So I definitely think he's saying for Salah, I basically feel like Salah's like, I want to stay, but I'm going to be competitive and fight the fight to get what I want because I'm kind
Yeah,
of best in the world
he's
right now.
just he's just playing the game to get the best
Yeah.
contract he can get. In my
Trent
opinion, he's
looks like his head's been turned. I think that's clear to everybody. I think everybody's in agreement. Whether we really know what we're talking about, I don't know. But it's like, I'm,
yeah.
and what Trent does is insane. I do not think Trent is replaceable. I do think
He's the most replaceable of the three, though.
he's the most replaceable. And the thing is, he's been more defensively solid this year.
Yeah,
Who caused that to happen? Who did that?
probably the conspiracy
No,
guys.
it's definitely Slot. Trent even said it's Slot. Trent interviewed and he goes,
I know.
yeah,
We
yeah, for
talked about it
sure.
before.
Trent showed the video and he goes, look, if you just angle your body this much, and it's like,
Yeah,
so this is a genius level player saying this guy told me something that made me better,
yeah.
just like that. So that just gives you a little insight to how psychotic
Well,
Slot is.
I was.
If that's how good he was able to make Trent defending, then how good do you think it'll be with like a normal right back that is good at defending? So then the right back's just going to be completely locked down because we're forgetting like, yeah, Trent's doing good at defending, but I feel like somebody like Connor Bradley would like do perfect at defending. Same with Joe Gomez. If you look at Joe Gomez, perfect at defending. So people that
Yeah.
are more natural defenders, the defending part happens perfectly. What Trent
Yeah, there's
can
just the
do is
question
these
if he would
crosses.
lose
Nobody
the.
can do that.
Yeah, there's just a question of how much he would lose from his, losing his passes, his crosses. But I don't think you're losing. My take. I thought for a while he might go to Real Madrid, but my opinion is Salah is there to set more records, and he's happy. And Virgil for sure embedded. He's there, but I think with Trent and Salah both, they care a lot about being on top.
Yeah.
And the appeal of Real Madrid normally is like you go the best, potentially the best team in the world, right? But right now, it's obvious to everybody that Liverpool is the best team in Europe. So why would you risk leaving the team that's dominating,
Yep.
that's dominating its league and the Champions League, and going to a team where it might work out, might not, where there's a bit of a weirdness going on right now trying
Yep.
to get Mbappe rolled in. They're really picking up now. Like now they're starting to look like what you would expect. But at the same time,
It's not
it's
perfect.
it's not guaranteed. It's not perfect. And also being a scout, being from there,
Mm-hmm.
like I think he's if it was
Character,
someone who
right?
came from outside, like Salah or whatever, someone else, there might be more of a draw to like, okay, I'll go to Real Madrid now. But he's from there; it's his home, so he loves being playing for his home club.
Yeah.
So I
He's gonna
think
get a
just
lot of
I
crap if
think
he leaves.
because he's so competitive and because Salah is so competitive, they will choose to be on the team that's dominating and consider, okay, maybe in a year or two, if things fall apart, I'll go to somewhere else. I don't. I think they're all just trying to get the best deal. But then the question is like, can the deals break down if because they're all demanding so much? I mean, my understanding is Salah is already on 400,000 a week, and like that's insane. Of
I think
course
it's
he's the
about
best player
renewing
in the
it. I
league,
think he's trying to get
but
it for
that's a
two
lot
more
of money.
years.
And I
Yeah.
don't know how much is he wants it for 2 years guaranteed, and how much like Liverpool might be concerned about guaranteeing 2 years at that rate.
I heard he wants
What?
three. We wanted one. I think they're going to
Oh,
compromise at
three.
two.
Okay. Well, that makes. I mean, that makes a bit more sense. I mean, three is a lot to ask at that age because,
Right.
of course, he looks ridiculous. I
Yep.
mean, I believe 100% he took his shirt off to show off how fit he is,
100%. The
and
guy's a digital marketing.
be like, dude, I'm here. Look at me. I'm not old, But at the same time, everybody knows once you're in your 30s,
Sorry.
one bad injury could end your career, and then you could be on 400,000 a week for 3 years, and you could really struggle, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's just a push and pull, but I think they'll all still end up on the team because you're doing so well. I think if you were having a bad season, then you would see some departures, but you're not having a bad season.
I
But
don't know these deals, like how complex they are, because like I know in the past we've written a lot of performancey types deals where it's like I know when he was coming up, now he's kind of earned it, but before it was kind of like, look, you're going to make 70K, but if you score this much, you're going to make bank. If we go to Champions League final, you're going to make bank. Like there was all these super bonuses built in. I wonder if they couldn't do stuff like, yeah, this is what you're going to make, but if you get in a long-term serious injury, like you said, if
yeah,
you're out for over 3 months, your pay gets cut. But then
yeah,
maybe
I was
that's
wondering
ratty.
the same. I was wondering the same, but I just feel like they don't do that.
No,
It
maybe
seems
because
like.
it's ratty to do that.
Yeah,
Like oh,
it's not it's like yeah, I don't know. But the one thing I will say about the contracts, so this is what I hinted at. It's well known that players often do better when they're trying to get a new contract signed
right,
than after they've got it signed.
yep,
I do not believe at all that any of these players are going to like intentionally lower their quality or try less hard
no,
after the contract is signed. But I do think there's a subconscious element to it
and you're
that,
settled.
yeah,
Yeah,
you've said there's just a natural you can't control
yeah,
once you know you've got you're when you know you're trying for a deal and every day you're like trying to get that deal. When you're on the pitch, you know you're out there trying to prove yourself. It's the same thing with him taking his shirt off. Once the deal is signed, I think subconsciously there's a risk of just dropping a little bit. And it's a game of fine margins. I mean, Salah's level this season is ridiculous. He's the first player in the history to get 10 plus goals and 10 plus assists before Christmas.
yeah,
No one has ever done it.
no.
This is insane. I mean, his level is insane right now.
Now slot system.
How many games have been decided by one or two plays by
Yeah.
him? He's just too good right now. So I don't know. There's a slim hope that once the contracts are signed, their level drops just enough that they are not so dominant.
What people don't realize, and like Raheem Sterling, he scored over 20 goals 1 year with Pep. Pep's system is so sick that when it's flowing,
Yeah,
there's just so many key passes going in. And I kind of think all the offensive players, but especially Salah, is really benefiting from playing in a sick team with a sick offensive system. I don't think
yeah,
another player is going to come in and produce Salah's numbers because Salah's really dominant. He gets the ball a lot. We go to him. We look to him. He's a leader
yeah,
in the team. But I think that the system, is a big. I mean, Perfect example is Holland. The numbers Holland posted when he first came into Man City. Man City, if you know Man City, it's like, well, of course. If De Bruyne is there and all that stuff's going on,
But City is also the perfect example because a little bit of a drop and everything can look like it's falling apart. You
well,
know,
yeah,
like
this is a freaky. This ain't a little bit of a
I
drop.
know
Like
this is
this
crazy. We're not going to
ain't
talk about
no.
this because it's too
No,
much.
that's a whole separate episode. Super conspiracy
But the
theory.
hope is that just a little bit starts to go wrong with your perfect system,
Yeah,
and finally you might lose some points here and there. I mean, you'd have dropped some points actually, but
we do.
those were
I
tough games.
Well, it's funny. I'll feel like, oh man, we dropped some points a week, and then I go and I look at the record, and it's like barely dropped anything. One,
Yeah,
two of 20,
it's not
20
much.
of 24. He's won 20 games out of 24 games. It's insane.
Yeah,
So it's damage limitation. I think his attitude is very like
I mean the word. Yeah, sorry.
perfect for winning. I just think his attitude is perfect for winning because it's not, you know, Klopp, his effect that he has on a club is very long lasting. Like Mainz has been a good club since Klopp left them. Dortmund has been a top club since Klopp left them. That's important to note. So that's part for me why Klopp is the greatest coach of the modern era because he takes teams and he literally puts them in a whole new level. It's like pursuit of happiness. You were a homeless person and now you have a whole career. Like that's what he does to entire teams. He changes the culture, the people, the fans. He gets everybody believing, and then he gets all of those factors working together in an insane way. Which it took special owners, in my opinion, to get him to come there. If they were trash owners, he wouldn't have went. He knows. No, I don't like these people. Like that's why I think Man United went in for him before Liverpool owners did. It's like no, not going to do it. So he can
Yeah, no.
sense if it's
Anyone.
toxic. He's not going
I
to do it.
actually, I actually think pretty highly of Emery, but anyone who goes to Man United thinking they're going to have success is like you have to question their judgment. But
Yeah, but do they have a new owner? Do they have a new partial? Is the Ineos? Do they have like a partial new owner?
Ineos is a partial owner who's now running everything, and
Right.
Sir Jim Ratcliffe. Uh,
So is that a new
but
potential warning? Because they're obviously the
in
sleeping
my
giant.
opinion, everybody was hoping, okay, then maybe he's going to turn things around. Boyhood Manchester United fan, billionaire, richest person in England, I believe,
Mm,
and he's even more of a disaster. The past few months has been even more of a disaster, like cutting the steward bonuses from £100 to £40,
right.
like all kinds of crazy decisions, and it's like, yeah. Anyway, let's not
I
go
didn't
down the
know
road. But
that one. So
to end with
it's
to end with Liverpool, though, I would just the biggest concern for me is just like as soon as you guys have a lead, you just shut down the game and you just control the game and don't let anything come in. And then if you when you're not in the lead, your attack is so fluid and dangerous, like you just know that you're going to find a way. So there's just like there's no way to see how you stop winning so much. Um, so it's very difficult. But
I want to see XG conceded, and I'm looking on my phone because I know early on it was just like you're right. That's what people don't understand. It's calculated. Like we're
yeah, and I
literally
don't know the
not conceding.
XG numbers for
Arsenal's
that, but
conceded the least. Arsenal's conceded 16 xG all season, but we know what Arsenal does. They're parkers with quality
what?
players.
Well,
Liverpool's conceded 16.2. The next nearest team is 18.3. To put it in perspective, Chelsea has conceded 24.6 xG, and
yeah,
which led to 19 goals. So actually, that goalie and whoever else is outperforming.
exactly. The goalie is outperforming, and I'm so tired of people. Let's shift to Chelsea,
Hey, dude,
and
he's
we
way
can.
outperforming. Like I'm looking at
I
these stats.
know, and
We've
people.
conceded 16.2 and we've conceded 16 goals. You've conceded 24.6 and have only conceded 19 goals.
Yep, and I'm telling you, it's the number one thing. It gets my blood is boiling right now. It gets me so irritated because the number one thing everyone wants to trash is the goalie because he's had a few flub moments. He did give away some goals with stupid errors, um, and it's like what happened with Jackson last year.
This should be
Everyone
the
jumped on
thumbnail for this episode.
everyone jumps on those individual mistakes, a couple of them, and then they just that's the talking point constantly about the person. And I'm like, no, this guy is a top goalie. And I'm tired of the narrative. I'm tired of the nonsense about him being crap. And all the Chelsea fans crap on him. All the non-fan pundits crap on him. The dude has saved us so many points this season. There's like 3 or 4 games
Hmm.
where his amazing saves saved us either an extra 2 or 1 point, like either three instead of one or one instead of zero. It's happened in 3 or 4 games. He's a tremendous goalkeeper.
Yeah.
His issue is he's so relaxed that sometimes he's too relaxed, trying to draw the pressure with the passing, and gives a ball away too easily. And he's gotten better with that. But that super relaxed, composed nature of his is why he's such a tremendous shot stopper.
Do the
That's why
defenders
he
believe
makes
in him?
saves that other goalies can't make. So, I'm really fascinated that you pulled up those numbers because I was going to point out, yeah, that everyone talks about how bad our defense and goalie are, and you have the least goals conceded, 16,
Hmm.
and we are tied um, for second, I believe, 19. Or is Arsenal also lower?
Yeah, Arsenal and us are 16, and
So
Nottingham
you and
Forest
Arsenal are
and you
16.
are
Yeah,
19.
you and Arsenal are 16, and we're tied for third
Yeah,
at 19 with Forest. And that's only 3 goal difference.
and you've
And I
conceded
love that you
way
pulled up
more.
the XG because that's showing that
You
it's
shouldn't be.
because of our freaking goalie that we haven't
Yeah,
been
yeah.
scored on 24 times.
5.5 point swing there. Like you should be
I'm
way
telling you,
worse.
it's the
I'm
number
feeling
one
it,
thing. I'm
bro.
gonna hammer. I'm gonna
My
keep
friends
hammering
pick
this
on me
home,
for loving stats, but this is why. Like I never would have known
dude.
that truth. But this is
I
why.
can't
Like, but
watch my
hey,
video.
on the other
Watch my
side,
video on
my bad,
Sanchez.
my bad. I will now. On the other side, funny note. I'm looking at this. Wolverhampton. They've conceded 28.4 xG. Guess how many goals they've conceded? 40.
Oh man,
It's like the
yeah.
opposite.
Again, though, they don't deserve to be in relegation zone. Like they're too good to be in the relegation zone, in my opinion. But yeah, anyway. But yeah, getting to the defense, we do have issues of our defense is not as gelled or mature as Liverpool's or Arsenal's. We have some top players, but they have weaknesses. The goalie has his weaknesses, but dramatically underrated as a goalie, as a shot stopper. Saved our butt multiple times. I think it's insane trying to push him out for another goalie. I'm like, who are you going to get? Who are you going to get that's better than him? I'm sorry, you're not going to get someone better than him. So anyway, but the issue we have is when we're fluid on attack, we look like the best attack or one of the best in Europe, along with Barcelona and Liverpool, I would say, and
Yep.
potentially Real Madrid, but they're really not showing that yet. Um, so especially in counters, we're tremendous. Open game, open play, open games, but we're still just there are still those games or those halves where we just can't get it to click, and players get a little impatient. They don't have the maturity of Salah to know like I'm going to get my goal. Like I don't need to rush. I don't need to
What
make
about your
stupid.
midfield though? What about Maresca's system? Is it able to just control and keep the ball and be patient? Because I feel like that's a system thing
We
mainly.
can, but the players need to mature a little bit more. And it's like so you just see those moments. You see those times. It happened first against Forest, where they had a low block, and we just couldn't break it down. And then we start panicking and start getting like
Yeah.
just not being able to get it done. And I mean, you lost to
Everton
Forest.
too.
Forest is good.
Yep.
Forest is
Yep.
good this year.
That's right.
We tied them, but we just got frustrated by them. Same happened with Palace. We actually absolutely dominated Crystal Palace, but just couldn't score. They had like one half chance, and Ezzy buried it in the top corner, and we lost to Palace. But there's only been a few games like this where it's just not clicking. Like normally it's all clicking, but we're not. It's not as consistently perfect and smooth as with Liverpool, where there are times when it's not clicking, and then it's just like, oh, how can you get it to click? How can you get it to click? Happened with Everton. I mean, Everton, that game was insane because it was so windy. The ball wouldn't sit still for a free kick or a corner. It was being blown. The crosses were flying too far because just it was so ridiculously windy and rainy. And they just they did what they've done. They have the most clean sheets in Europe. So we
Yeah.
have that challenge,
Hmm.
and I guess we have the challenge of sometimes losing our. I mean, Cucurella is so absolutely critical to our team in attack as well.
Hmm.
and he got his double yellow in the previous game because of complaining after the final whistle to the ref too much aggressively. So then he missed the game against Everton. Missing the game against Everton, that could have been easily been what cost us not getting the win, because he's so critical to our system going forward and also defensively. But I don't know. When I watch our games, I'm very hopeful. I said we'd go on a big run, and we'd be coming for coming for you, coming after the title. It's happened. Everybody's talked about it. It's been the story for a month.
We're not
But
way ahead.
but we're just we're just that step below where you guys are. So it's like, as much as you can hope, oh, Liverpool will stumble and Chelsea will stay consistent, it's vastly more likely that you stay consistent and we stumble.
That's your team. That's really good. That's your
I
team.
mean, I
Green,
believe
green,
100%
green,
we will.
green, green, green. The first game is a draw. The last game is a draw. That's all greens.
Yeah.
That means your team is playing title
We're
winning form.
dominating. We're dominating matches.
I mean, a lot of these matches are easy. The hardest one I see here is Tottenham, and that was a 4-3 game. Arsenal 1-1. So, I mean,
But that was not
Shamrock.
even, that
Okay,
was a
okay.
couple of
A little
slips.
bit of conference-y, bro. Hold on. Shamrock, FC Astana, FC Heidenheim. No wonder people don't rate this, because half of it's conference league. If you were in Champions League, people, if this was your thing and you were in the Champions League, then you'd be getting respect. But this is like literally a different Chelsea team is playing on those nights.
Yeah, but that's what everybody talks about. That's the big benefit Chelsea has, is they play a
Big
different
benefit,
11.
bro. This is
They
the best
play,
chance you're going to have to win the title right now.
yeah.
And his
Everybody talks about
first
how
year.
you have a different 11. You have a different 11. You don't wear out your first 11. So that's the big point a lot of people make for why Chelsea could potentially, like, Liverpool could get
Yeah,
tired. Uh, I think there's actually a different part of that that I wanted to make a whole different video on, which nobody talks about. You
rhythm.
just get in the habit of winning. You just get
Yeah,
in the habit of believing you're going to win the game, because whether you're in the first 11, you're on the bench midweek and watching win a game 8-0,
yeah.
or you're in the Premier League dominating.
I
you
see
just
you.
Yeah, we'll wrap up in a second.
Yeah, don't be a naughty dad.
You just end up getting used to being dominant and winning. So I think that's a benefit of being in the conference league that people don't recognize. They just see the potential to rotate. But in the Premier League as well, I mean, Slot said the only team he felt that outplayed Liverpool was Chelsea, and we do that week in and week out, whether we get the 3 points or not. So there's a
Yep.
lot of hope, but it's just there's not the consistency or the maturity. The only and there's just no sign of Liverpool dropping off. So I don't know. I think it's probably going to end up closer to where it is than anything else. But
Well, I think that we're set up for the next 3 or 4 years under these coaches. I Maresca, I mean, is definitely more financially backed than any rational coach in the modern game, which is insane. So Maresca, whatever gap I do think Slot has on Maresca tactically, because I think Slot's just, again, some of this could be skewed. You have a really young team. If Slot had a
yeah,
really young team, but also if Slot had a really young team, he might be perfect because he's like, welcome students. Now you will grow
no,
up.
no,
What?
hundred
Maybe.
percent. We're gonna be deadly dangerous in a year or two with all these young guys maturing as fast as much as they are, and your guys getting older. I look forward to next season, but this
Our
season's
guys aren't as
fun.
old
There's
as
no pressure on us.
our guys aren't as old as you think. Our top three are, but the amount of people that are young, it is really crazy. And McAllister, the way he plays, the type of player he is, it's not dependent on youth even. I think he's like just turned 26 or 27 actually yesterday. But it's like Elliott, Curtis Jones, Soboslai, Gravenberch, Connor Bradley. A lot of these guys are super young. Jarrell Kwanzaa,
Yeah.
super young.
No, you have a great. But it's just your
Nunez,
big guy. I mean, there's just more
yeah,
potential for your big guys to
yes.
to be to get injured or just get
That's what I'm
fade
saying. If
off
we
the
win this
stage.
year, I'm fine starting over and being a top four team because the way Slot plays, it's like there is a game plan, and I firmly believe this. My personality believes this. There is a game plan. You literally can't outsmart people. I'm really big on that. You literally can't outsmart people.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you can have 7 out of 10 players, but if as a system, as a coach, you are literally smarter than the other person, I believe that. And I don't know how, but I believe these guys got the smartest coach in world football right now. That's what I
Yeah,
believe
no,
about Slot. His
I think
halftime
the two of
adjustments,
them. I think the two of them are head to head on that. I think they're very similar. You see the players saying very similar things about both of them, about how they the
they're
kind of
dialed
thing you
in.
mentioned earlier with Trent, and you just see it over and over with different players being like, "Oh, I'd never seen the game like this before." Like open up
Mm.
what the game is, like what it
Yeah.
means, and all the strategies. So I think they're very similar. I just think right now you have the edge from the maturity and experience, and then next season, hopefully, we get the
Did
edge.
Maresca
And
win a title with somebody before he came?
well, just Leicester in the championship.
He did. He won the championship with
Yeah,
Leicester.
yeah, yep, yep.
Yeah. I'm just saying because
Yeah.
that's significant. To win
Yeah.
is significant.
Yeah, no, I think they're very similar level. I think they're
But
very,
winning with
very,
Leicester
very
in the
similar.
championship, so he's winning with the Premier League team that happens to be in the championship.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's not.
It's
They
not
were
the same as
expected.
Feyenoord winning
They
the.
had the strongest team in the league. So, but yeah, I mean, it does show finishing it though. So yeah, no, I think that's where it is. The next two games to finish the first half of the season are both very winnable for both teams. There's potential slip up, but I mean they should be they should be winnable for both of us. So I think as long as we stay close and have fun, that's all we're having. We're loving this season, especially after our
Yeah.
past couple of very difficult seasons. But
We'll look back on this, dude. Our teams are dominant, and your team plays good footy. I like Cole Palmer. I, I want Chelsea to do good. I don't want Arsenal to do good. I hate the way that team plays. Their manager is not top class, and he's totally proving it. They got rid of Xhaka. What a huge miss. I was arguing with somebody like they only think one person in my midfield gets in their midfield. Are you insane? Have we even heard Rice's name this year? Like
I do think
McAllister,
your players are very underrated across the board, first team and down. So I
yeah,
think that is something that you have a lot of quality that just not hyped players, not very well
McAllister
acknowledged
played
players.
for Leicester. He played the 10 in a 4-2-3-1. He played the cam for Leicester, and he led their team in scoring. That's the guy who we have playing deep role. And look what he did. He just ran in the box and got a goal. Like the guy, I
Yeah,
wouldn't be letting
he's
McAllister shoot on the edge of the box. I wouldn't let McAllister pick passes on the edge of the box. I think McAllister has a better killer ball than Odegaard. I think Odegaard's just like a system
well,
passer, system player.
and I think in general, depth is like the most important thing today in this modern age. Like
Mm,
you have to have really good depth to be able to compete at all
mm.
the levels you're going to be competing. And I do think Liverpool and Chelsea are blessed with depth, and as long as the manager knows how to use that, you're in a good position. But yeah, we'll see. Reconvene. Hopefully, something disrupts Liverpool in the next few weeks, and we can have a different
If it
conversation.
does, we need to have reaction. Buy some lights so we can record at night. These are early
Yeah,
days, two fans. Early
I
days.
need to build out the background better. But yeah, Merry Christmas,
Merry
peace.
Christmas. Love you. Bye bye. Tell your family I said hi.